Since I'm a no-brain liberal cuck, I pre-ordered Battlefield 5. I know, big mistake, right? Hopefully those women soldiers' vaginas don't touch me. Ugh, that'd be icky. I said vagina within the first 10 seconds, so there goes my monetization. There's a donation link in the description. Anyway, so in all seriousness, there is a couple of things I want to see from Battlefield 5 throughout its life cycle as a Battlefield fan, because I care about the gameplay, not people's stupid pseudo-political bullshit. So the first thing I want to see from Battlefield 5 is replayability. Hopefully the progression system keeps me grinding and playing the game for longer than I did Battlefield 1. Hopefully unlocking attachments, leveling up weapons, unlocking different things for my various classes is an enjoyable experience that I want to continue. On the day you're watching this, if it's the day this video was released, the game comes out for me tonight, and I'll be able to tell pretty quickly if it's going to have a lot of replayability. Call me a casual, but I like a progression system that encourages me to sit down and grind a competitive shooter. Even though Black Ops 4 hasn't had the most perfect launch, the thing that keeps me coming back to it is leveling up guns and getting camos and completing challenges and grinding for higher prestige than my friends. But even if the progression system isn't amazing at launch, I won't freak out because this leads me to my next thing that I want, and that is a steady release of post-launch content and quick updates. I don't want weirdly distributed DLC for Battlefield 5. That's what happened with Titanfall 2, that's what happened with Battlefront 2, and hopefully we actually see a good release of content with Battlefield 5. So EA, please keep your grubby hands off of it, and allow us to have weapons, game modes, maps, and more throughout each month. If you're really going to keep DLC free, keep it free. If you want to add in some post-launch microtransactions where I can buy cosmetics, that's not the worst thing either. But please keep guns, game modes, and maps outside of a paywall, and keep them steady and keep them coming. And then of course I want game fixes way faster than with Battlefield 1. Battlefield 1 took forever to fix the most minute things. I've complained about that enough on this channel. Battlefield 1 isn't unplayable or anything, but I would like to have seen quicker responses from the developers. So again, EA, keep your grubby mitts off of DICE and let them update the game. And also, DICE, figure out how to update your game. The next thing I want from Battlefield 5 is flexibility. I don't want to be forced into some sort of strict meta where I need to be completing certain tasks every match, in terms of like, you know, having to win. And this might sound very casual, but what I mean is, I want the game to be more sandboxy. And this is kind of a design thing. If it's not there, it's not there, but that's kind of what I'm hoping for when I get the game tomorrow. Tonight, for you guys watching, if this is the day, whatever. I'm hoping there's a nice variety of different ways I can play the game and that I'm not going to be forced into any sort of, again, strict meta. Battlefield is not a strict meta team-based game. It is a loose meta sandbox team-based game, in my opinion. When I say strict meta, I mean something like Counter-Strike or Rainbow Six Siege or Overwatch, where it's a lot more deliberate what you have to do, whereas Battlefield has always been more sandboxy, and so I hope I don't feel forced into any sort of, like, constant role where I have to use a couple of different guns, everything else is unviable, and if I'm not trying my absolute hardest and sweating my ass off, I'm just gonna have a miserable time. If, like, winning is the only important thing in Battlefield 5, I will be actually pretty bummed out, because a big thing that brought me into Battlefield was it not being this hardcore team-based competitive game, and it being a little bit more relaxed. Because I play multiple FPS games, and the big one I'm playing right now is Black Ops 4. When I go from the hectic action of Black Ops 4 to Battlefield 5, I don't want to be put in a more clusterfucky OBJ play. Hopefully I have a nice level of flexibility, so that I can kind of play with the sandbox instead of, again, trying to fit some sort of strict meta. And the last thing I'm looking for is pretty simple. I want to have good performance. I mean, for everybody, Xbox One, PS4, PS4 Pro, Xbox One X, and PC. I just hope all the ports are good, but the one I'm most interested in is Xbox One X. They have a whole big thing on Xbox's website, and a whole big thing on Xbox's YouTube channel, and they had a big deal about how Battlefield 5 is gonna run like butter on the Xbox One X. I wanna see it. One of the reasons I didn't switch to PC for Battlefield was because Battlefield on console has gotten really good, and I hope it's better than Battlefield 1 was at launch. The beta was pretty good, but I had trouble doing well in the beta and having any sort of decent performance in the beta because I had terrible internet during the beta. That my internet was going out and spiking my ping. My router was like basically dying. I had to get a new one. It was a whole ordeal. It really ruined that beta for me in a lot of ways. But other than that, it did seem to run pretty good, and I hope that does extend to the launch. I don't want a ton of frame rate issues and crashes. I hope we get a nice smooth 60 FPS, and yeah, even if that means that DICE has to lower the resolution on the X version after launch to get a better frame rate, that's fine. The Xbox One X is kind of bottlenecked by its CPU, and hopefully they've optimized it for that. And although the original Xbox One and PS4 really can't match the speed and power of a nice PC or the PS4 Pro or Xbox One X, they still deserve a nice smooth running game, and hopefully they get that. So good performance, replayability, flexibility, and quick updates and content releases. I really want to see weapons and maps and stuff being dropped consistently throughout its life cycle, so the game doesn't fucking die. I'm so sick of like Battlefield games kind of like losing a lot of its player base after 6 months, and then losing it more after 8, and then after the first year you only have the hardcore fans of the game left, and then there's like no more content, and then you kind of feel like, why am I a Battlefield fan? This is all terrible. I don't want that feeling. So yeah, anyway, I'll see you when I see you guys, and I hope to see you on the battlefield. The icky PC SJW battlefield. Okay, I'm done. I'm done making fun of it. I'm done making fun of it. All I'm saying is that Battlefield 4 is sexist for not having women. Bye.